I've been there scrolling through endless listings of ultralight, high-refresh gaming laptops that look like they belong on a tech magazine, only to find the ones that actually arrive feel like they were built for a different kind of user. You're staring at a glossy photo of a sleek chassis, a 240Hz QHD screen, and a price tag that promises future-proof performance. But the real question is whether that machine will actually sit comfortably on your desk for a marathon session of Valorant, or whether it will turn into a heavy, hot brick that drains the battery before you finish a single map. That hesitation is exactly why I'm diving into the ASUS ROG Strix G16, because it's easy to waste money on a laptop that looks perfect on paper but falls short when you need it most. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Strix G16 isn't trying to be a budget device. It's packing an Intel Core i9-13980HX, a GeForce RTX 4070, and a full 32 GB of DDR5 4800 memory, all tucked behind a 16-inch 1610 Nebula display that can hit 240 Hz at QHD resolution. Those numbers are impressive, but they also set the stage for the trade-offs you'll notice once the laptop is out of the box. The most immediate thing you'll feel is the size and weight. At roughly 5.5 kilograms, about 12 pounds, the G16 is more of a desktop replacement you can move around than a true portable machine. If you plan to carry it to a coffee shop every day, the extra heft will start to feel like a workout. On the flip side, the larger chassis gives ASUS room for a more robust cooling system, which is where the ROG Intelligent Cooling solution shines. I tested the laptop over a week of real-world usage, swapping between a typical workday setup with spreadsheets, Zoom calls, and a few hours of video editing, and then jumping straight into 1080p competitive shooters and a couple of AAA titles at 1440p. The first thing that stood out was the Nebula display. The 16:10 aspect ratio gives you a little extra vertical space, which is a subtle but welcome boost for productivity. You get a bit more room for code editors or document panes without having to scroll as much. The 240 Hz refresh rate is genuinely noticeable in fast-paced shooters, enemy movement feels smoother, and the reduced motion blur gives you a small but real edge when you're tracking a sniper's crosshair. The colors are vivid, and the HDR support works well enough that you can see the difference in darker scenes of games like Cyberpunk 2077, though you'll still need to tweak the brightness to avoid eye strain in a bright room. When it comes to raw performance, the RTX 4070 paired with that i9 chip delivers exactly what the specs promise. In my tests, the laptop held steady around 100 frames per second in shadow of the Tomb Raider at max settings, and it never dipped below 80 frames per second in Elden Ring during heavy boss fights. The MUX switch with Advanced Optimus was a pleasant surprise. I could flip to discrete-only mode and bypass the integrated graphics entirely, which shaved off a couple of milliseconds of input latency. For anyone who streams while they play, that little extra responsiveness can be the difference between a smooth broadcast and a choppy one. However, the power you get comes with a couple of practical downsides that matter once the excitement of benchmark numbers fades. The battery life, for instance, is modest at best. Running a non-gaming workload, say, browsing the web and watching YouTube, gave me about 4 to 5 hours before I needed to plug back in. Toss in a gaming session, and you're looking at roughly an hour of playtime before the charger becomes a must-have accessory. That's not a surprise for a laptop with a 99Wh battery and a high refresh screen, but it's something you need to factor into your daily routine. If you expect to game on the go without an outlet, you'll quickly feel the limitation. Heat is another area where the Strix G16's design decisions become apparent. The intelligent cooling system uses a combination of liquid metal on the CPU and dual fan blowers that keep the laptop from throttling under sustained load. In practice, the fans spin up to a noticeable whine during long gaming marathons. You'll hear them, and you'll feel the vibration if your desk is a lightweight surface. It doesn't impact performance, but the acoustic noise can be a distraction if you're streaming or trying to have a voice chat with teammates. The laptop also runs a bit warm to the touch on the palm rests after an hour of intensive work, which could be uncomfortable if you're prone to sweaty hands. Now, let's talk about who this machine actually benefits. If you're a serious PC gamer who wants a single device that can handle the latest titles at high settings, stream, and also serve as a capable workstation for content creation, the Strix G16 hits a sweet spot. The 32GB of DDR5 memory means you can have multiple heavy applications open: Photoshop, DaVinci Resolve, a browser with dozens of